countries never deviated off message, never sold out, nothing. How you get sticky bombs from your car? Oh, you threw sticky bombs from your car. Ah. You gotta know how to run, bro. Oh, shit. Like, what do you think about Bernie Sanders, Nate? That's awesome. Okay. Uh, well, for first thing, we give about $56 billion to oil companies that we don't have to. Listen. He's not talking about Ivy League college like Yale, Harvard. Those are private colleges. He's talking about state-run colleges, like universities that are state-run. You know what I'm saying? Like Buff State or Canisius College. Those are state-run colleges that are run by the state, by the government. So those would be free. Okay? The first 2 years would be free. Um, you don't have to get tap and pell. You know, I mean, you'd come out of college, you'd be debt free. A more educated population means less people will be taking menial jobs, so they'll get paid more. They wouldn't be eligible for food stamps or Medicaid, or they wouldn't be able to live off the government. Basically, they wouldn't qualify because they make enough. You know what I'm saying? So that reduces your tax burden as well. You know, so now you're not paying that much into food stamps, which is about, I think it's like 63 cents a year per taxpayer. Pays about 63 cents per year per taxpayer for food stamps. So you wouldn't have to pay that 63 cents per year, okay? And that's times 300 million people. That's how much. That's how. Um, you wouldn't have to pay co-pays. Well, I don't know how big the food stamp budget is, but we could look it up. I know it's like a couple cents every year that we don't have to pay, that we pay into food stamps as taxpayers. Like it's the lowest form of subsidy there is that we pay for out of taxes, you know? And check this out, you know that tax that comes out of your check, that Medicaid tax, that wouldn't come out of your check anymore. That wouldn't come out of your check anymore. Um, your Medicaid tax, your Medicare tax, it wouldn't come out of your check anymore. Everybody pays into Medicaid. Everybody. Everybody who works pays a Medicaid tax. So you work. See, like right now you work, and if you wanted to go to the government and say, yeah, I want to get Medicaid so that because I can't afford private insurance, the government will tell you, well, you don't qualify. You know why you don't qualify? Because you don't have a child or you're not disabled. So you wouldn't qualify for Medicaid because, and you would have because the Democrats passed a bill. They wanted to pass a bill that was called that was part of the ACA law, which is if you couldn't afford health insurance because you didn't make enough, then you would qualify for Medicaid. It's for the working poor. You would qualify for Medicaid for the working poor. Right, the ACA law. But Republicans struck it down. So so Medicaid for the working poor was not allowed anymore. Right, right, right. No, no, no. I can hear you. Well, well, people who are not working, remember, people who are not working are required to work under the welfare reform bill of 1992, which is by Bill Clinton when he did welfare reform. You can only be on welfare, which is cash assistance. You can only be on welfare for up to 5 years. That's it. And while you're on welfare, you have to work for your benefits. So meaning you'd have to be like a janitor and clean up government buildings. You'd have to work for the city, pick up trash on the side of the road. So they're not getting it for free. They're still working for their benefits. They're just not getting paid like a regular worker. They're getting like maybe 30 cents, 40 cents to the dollar, because welfare doesn't give you that much. They don't they don't give you enough to hardly pay all your rent and shit. Um Food stamps the same thing. You have to work for your food stamps as well. Um, if you're able, I'm sorry. Well, it's a federal requirement. It's a federal requirement that anybody who's well, then that means that they're disabled. They have to be disabled, huh? Well, I think you need to look into it more to find out what it is they have. Like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. That makes no sense because the extra money he'd make more than what food stamps is giving him. But he does he some people are dumber than others. You know what I'm saying? Look, dude. Right. So you made too much. You didn't qualify because you made too much. How much were you making every hour? That's more than enough to pay. Dude, come on, bro. Yes, it is, bro. Brother, 15? Bro, you're talking to a person. Listen, bro. I supported my wife, my daughter, and my son on 9.79 an hour in Buffalo, New York. That's four people. And I was paying my car note, my rent, my insurance, my wife's insurance on her car, and my furniture bill. Yeah, and if you're not making 40 hours, then I can understand. If then that's the difference. If you're making 30 hours or 20 hours or 25, then you qualify because even though you're getting paid 18, 20 or 15, you're basically making the same as an 850 person because you're only making 20 hours a week. You know what I'm saying? Then I could totally understand why. But yeah, the Medicaid was supposed to be for the working poor. It was it's called the Medicaid Expansion Act, and it was voted down. So that means, like, let's say you only make $15 an hour, but you're only making 30 hours a week. You don't make enough. You can't afford to pay for medical insurance, pay your rent, pay for your food, pay for your utilities, and still make enough to pay your premiums for your medical. So they did what's called the Medicaid Expansion Act, which would have given you It would have qualified you for Medicaid. It would have gotten rid of the restrictions, meaning you wouldn't have to have a child to qualify for Medicaid. You would have gotten it. What happened? Slipknot? Yeah, bro. America. Fuck yeah. Coming to save the day.